Hey guys, thanks for coming. If you are new here, my name is AZ and this is my channel Tspiracy. And we have not only one special guest tonight, we have two special guests tonight, okay? LawTube in the building. Oh, LawTube in the building. I'm so excited, okay? We have so many unanswered questions in this Katie Joy from Without a Crystal Ball and Steve McRae lawsuit. Or was it a lawsuit? Is it not a lawsuit? What's going on here? What happened? What happened to the lawsuit, bro? What happened? You know, so many questions. I took a lot of your questions from Twitter. I have some of my own. So not only do I have the fabulous, the amazing Nate, the lawyer, here with me, but we have Uncivil Law in the building too.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hey.
So Kurt, before we get started, because you know, elephant in the room, I gotta clear the air. Listen, okay. I'm that creepy girl that sent you like the handwritten note with like the crystal, because like you my favorite, and you banged your head against the wall reading the Katie Joy stuff, and that was so awesome. I was like, I love this guy. I've never sent like a fangirl anything to anybody, first and foremost, okay? But to keep it 100 with you, a couple weeks ago, I saw a video and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to friend zone Kurt because like he was like doing something on a copyright strike. I don't know. Anyways, I tweeted at you, but it wasn't even you, Kurt. It was the wrong Kurt, and now you're here, Kurt, and it's kind of awkward, Kurt. But can you not sue me? Can we still be friends?
Of course we can be friends. And I
don't want everyone to be like, you're so fake,
nice. And your gift was very, very nice.
Thank you. So everyone would be like, Easy, weren't you mad at Uncivil? It wasn't even the right Uncivil. I was like so embarrassed. This guy was like, yeah, hi, but I'm not mad anymore, Kurt. I'm over it. All right, whatever.
We learn from the mistakes of others. Sometimes those mistakes are mine.
Yeah.
That's the shill of the channel, right? We learn from mistakes of others. So, yep. Hey, T, why the hell do you have us here talking about this crazy maniac again and his crazy lawsuit? Because me and Kurt, so everyone understands, I have history with Steve. Kurt's been following the lawsuit because I kind of gave up on it. But you got us here, AZ, talking about this madness. What's going on?
Listen, all right. First and foremost, my channel was founded not only on like the hypocrisy of Katie, but I have a deep disdain for people who manipulate other people and whatever. And everybody in the beginning was like, watch out for Steve McRae. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I have to learn things for myself, you know, because everybody tells you that. You guys know, you're YouTubers. How many times do you hear that? Watch out for this person. What? Yeah. If I listen to everyone, I none of y'all, I would talk to anybody. So I gave Steve a chance, you know, and I found out for myself, you know, what the hoopla was all about. And now, you know, let me tell you guys before we get into it, I just don't like people who do that. And I feel like he took advantage of the I call it that Katie hate boner in this community. I feel like he took full advantage of it. And I feel like, in my opinion, that he saw an opportunity. He had hate for Katie, and he had, you know, all these women out here, I call them the sister wives, talking about, you know, giving him credence, whatever. And he raised money, and he said he was going to file a lawsuit against her, and he said he would go to any lengths. He would make himself bankrupt. He didn't say that. He said, I have great credit, I'll do that. He didn't do it. Okay, he didn't do it, and that's a problem for me.
Well, I do want to ask you one thing. Right now, Steve is saying that his lawsuit is still live and that we're lying about him having the year and all that stuff, right? Is that essentially what he's saying?
Oh, I have some of the screenshots of what he's saying, but just
anytime he wants to cite to us the relevant rule,
hold on,
that says we're wrong would be fine.
Hold on, hold on, Kurt. Before you guys get into it, I'm going to share something that's going to start. So because I know when you come here, you got to come with receipts and you got to come to make the chat hot. So I'm going to play you a clip of Steve McRae calling himself a liar about this. Now, I didn't send this to you earlier, but
it's okay.
I'm going to send you a clip that's going to that will put. I'm sharing it now. Play that video, and we'll hear if Steve knows that his lawsuit is dismissed with prejudice or not.
So many people behind you, it's unbelievable.
So how do I
gonna win it?
But how do I get it to where I can get it? Okay, first of all, like I said, I have 6 more months to file, or it gets dismissed with prejudice. I don't have enough to continue all the way. I can get it filed, but it's gonna. I know it's going to cost more than that. Now, granted, as I'm going, working and I have income, everything, I put a lot of my own money in this, and I don't have a lot. So what it really.
Nate, you're muted. But I heard 6 months to file or it's dismissed with prejudice.
That was 6. He said that 6 months ago. So do we really need to hear any more? Like, we're here to discuss the legal portions of it and explain to you guys why it works that way. But Steve knows. Steve knows this. He absolutely knows this. He's been telling people this for months. And now he's saying that it's not true because he's been caught in a fraud. He's been caught in a scam. And now he's saying it's not true. But he, 6 months ago, knew this day was coming. And now is out there pretending that it's not dismissed. What are people talking about? No one knows what they're talking about. So I just want everybody in the chat and everybody who's going to be watching this later to know. Steve knows everything we're going to be saying today is true and that his case is dismissed. You heard him just say that, just to be clear. Go ahead, AZ. I'm sorry. I just wanted to come in hot so people know we're not here to play any games. We're here to talk about the law and the facts. You're muted, AZ.
Thank you, by the way, because I would have just kept talking. So yeah, and listen, even if I have to try to look at things objectively, right? Like his sister wives will say, "Oh, you talk to Katie, you're friends with Katie." No, I'm not. I just have the ability to see things for myself. Like anybody around here who even has the audacity to think outside the box and think that, hey, you know what? Katie does a lot of wrong, but she's not wrong all the time. Not everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's no in between. There's no gray area with this stuff. So it's really frustrating that people say that. But I just hope around here, if nobody gets anything else from this, like, just make your own decisions. Stop believing what people say. Look at stuff. Like, think for yourself. Because a lot of the people that still are believing him, they either just don't want to believe it, like R. Kelly, y'all just don't want to believe it, or they just don't care. And they're just like, it's fine, he's my friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, whatever.
You're right. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. But the problem is that when as a lawyer, and Kurt would tell you this too, you have to deal with the facts. You can't deal with like the BS is one thing, but you got to deal with the facts in front of you. The facts in front of you say one thing. We can't just make it up. We have to, we got to be real. And I think the problem is that if people want the real truth about this thing, this is not something we have to do a live stream about, right? You just got to pull up Hip Pocket Service Minnesota and it tells you everything right here. But the reason why we have to do this for other people like EKC and the rest of these people is because they know the truth, but they want us to say it out loud for some reason. So, and that's why, and Kurt had Nick on, who's a Minnesota attorney. Kurt knows more about this stuff than I do. And that's why I'm glad he came over here.
I mean, we can just quote chapter and verse. It's Minnesota Court Rule 3.01. Filing requirements are there. You have to file within a year. It's in the rules. Filing requirements require court filing within 1 year after commencement. It's right there in the rule. So if he's saying it's not true, quote me a better rule, quote me a better law, quote me some other provision. It's like I've got a source that says I'm right. What do you got that says I'm wrong?
Well, he says this is an ongoing argument he's been making as of late, other than it's all Uni's fault and because of us, because we've ruined his chances, that now he really can't do it. It's all y'all fault. Like, his sister wife is telling me, I'm like, whatever. Okay. He's had every excuse in the book. He has said that Todd Chrisley's going to take all her money. There ain't going to be nothing left for me. The list goes on how many different excuses he's come up with. So for those of you in the chat who don't know, I'm just gonna read his GoFundMe real quick, because this is a key part of not only we're gonna talk about the lawsuit that never was, but we have to figure out like why it's such a big deal, right? Like, other than the obvious facts, like it's a big deal because he didn't do what he said he was going to do, on top of lying about lying. So I'm going to read this. He's lying about lying. All right. So I have consulted with my attorneys, and they have given me specific guidance on what I can discuss when it comes to my legal action against another YouTuber, Katie Joy, in order to ask for financial assistance in my legal action against this other YouTuber. While I do have some funding available, and I am starting a new job next week to pay for legal expenses, it will probably be a few months at least until I'm able to file in state court my complaint. It'll be at least, a few months at least. Okay, anyways, as is much more difficult to cover legal costs now that this YouTuber has filed a responsive countersuit against me. That's something we're going to talk about. And even though I can show beyond any doubt that her countersuit contains objectively false allegations, that's such a Steve, objectively false. Anyways, it is still substantially going to raise the cost of my legal actions against this YouTuber. Legal action that I have taken to restore my reputation and show beyond all doubt in a court of law that all of YouTubers' accusations against me are not just without evidence, merit, or cause, but are even in good faith and are in fact retaliatory in nature. I believe this case will probably take approximately $30,000 to $40,000 and will be quite a bit more drawn out if I have to fund it all myself. I have 9 more months to file an MN court, and I have to go back to work to help cover legal costs. Oh, you gotta go back to work, dude? Or anyways, I have already spent over $8,000 of my own personal funds thus far to get this case a written complaint.
You're getting ripped off, Steve. If you spent $8,000 to get this written complaint, you're getting cheated.
Yeah, we need to talk about that too. So take note of that, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Frivolous countersuit. So if I can raise at least $10,000 to $15,000, it would be incredibly helpful to me and my legal funding, as unfortunately her countersuit against me has effectively doubled my initial predictions of the cost of the case. But I do expect to not just win punitive damage, but full legal costs as well. Raising $20,000. Well, the longer this goes on, the more money he needs. All right, raising $20,000 would be beyond amazing, as I also have to pay for my own expenses to fly to Minnesota, which is fine for jurisdiction for the trial if it's not virtual, as well to cover the cost of depositions, which will immediately follow discovery. Now, all funding, this is his little asterisk area. All funding will go to legal costs, transportation, filings, mailings, and any other use I deem required to obtain justice and fair compensation. Other ways to donate is PayPal or become a member. Yada yada. Receipts for legal fees will be posted to show how all funding. Yeah, whatever. All right. Yeah, but it's not alone. It's to seek restitution for the court case. Here's my favorite part, you guys. Okay. I thank you all for your continued support and faith that I have told the truth, continue to tell the truth, and will tell the truth in perpetuity. Heart, Steve McRae. Okay, so.
All right, there's so much to unpack there. Oh
I know, right? So people donated, you guys, as you could see, like people making donations in the name of cancer, which is scary because you probably this could have went somewhere so much better. I donated because I donated because I want to see the evidence judged in court and not online. Yeah, well, that's what everyone wanted, right? So that's just a little idea of all right. So now, guys, all right, here's like the first question I have. Can we just start off like trying to explain to the people what Hip Pocket is about in Minnesota and whatnot? Can we just like start there if that's okay?
So you want to start with Hip Pocket service?
If you don't mind, yeah.
Sure. Well, first, you know what? Let me share. I want to share this PowerPoint I made up real quick, just so we can, because
go ahead.
When it comes. Yeah. Well, I've had this because we were talking about it earlier, so I wanted to make sure I brought the receipts, because whenever you deal with the IT community, which Kurt hasn't dealt with a lot, you got to bring receipts. You got to be a cashier here, because if you're a cashier, it's not going to happen. So here it is. I think
to the screen. I know what's happening here. Okay, you guys are gone for a minute. I'm like, where'd they go? Sorry, I hate StreamYard. It's like a disaster. All right, let's try this. So yeah.
Hold on. So this is.
Just tell me when you're ready.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. It should be there now. It should be untitled.
Okay.
There it is. All right. So
thank you, Brandon. By the way, I appreciate that.
Oh, Brandon, I'm definitely going to answer that right after this. But first, I just want to give everybody the facts so everybody understands why we're coming to the conclusion we're coming to, and then we'll talk about the law. Facts will lead into the law. But whatever the facts are, then we can know what laws will apply. So here's the facts. So Steve, can you take the super chat down real quick? I just want to get the bottom part of this. If you look, 4:21 p.m. at 8/16/21, that's last year on the 16th of this month, Steve put, yes, it's true, I'm suing Katie Joy Paulson in civil court for defamation per se. So he announced it that day, right? Katie Joy then confirmed it on 8/16/21. She confirmed the X before, saying, "Oh my God, the funniest thing, Steve McRae is suing me for defamation. Let's go, damages ready." But now, just because they said it, how do we know this actually happened at that time, right? Because you need at least something to know. So if you go to the GoFundMe page, Steve put receipts up. And on Steve's receipt, it literally says 8/16/2021, service of process, $76. Right. And then he paid $5,000 retainer. So we do know that on this day, 8/16/2021, he served Katie Joy. He said he served Katie Joy. Katie Joy said she got the service. So that's when this lawsuit started. That's when he served her hip pocket service. This is the evidence that we know. Steve said it, Katie said it, and now we have the receipt for it. So there's no doubt what date this thing was served. And then if we look at the lawsuit, the complaint was actually dated 8/16 too. So we're clear on the date. There's no issues with the date. Now, if I can pass it to Kurt will explain hip pocket services. Kurt,
I have shared the screen to show you the rules, because it's always good to go to the rules.
All right. Here we go.
Okay, so this is from the Minnesota court rules. So hip pocket service is a nickname. It is a nickname for how a lawsuit gets started in Minnesota. So in Minnesota, in order to start a lawsuit, you can file in court, but in Minnesota, the lawsuit is effective the moment you serve the person you're suing. That's what 3.01 says. A civil action, which is just a name for a lawsuit, is started against each defendant when the summons is served upon the defendant. So in Minnesota, to start the lawsuit, to start the civil action, all you need to do is serve it upon them. You don't need to file. You just need to serve it. So that's called hip pocket service, because it's in your hip pocket, as it were. And then where we're coming up with this 1 year requirement, you can see where you go past A, B, C, and I'll see if I can highlight here. It says here, filing requirements. Okay, so this is beyond starting. So the civil action is commenced when service is conducted, which was 8/16 last year. But then there are filing requirements on top of that. Filing requirements are set forth in Rule 5.04, which requires filing with the court within 1 year after commencement for non-family cases. This is not a family case. So that's where the 1 year is coming from. It has to be filed within 1 year. What happens if you don't do that? Well, then 5.04 has you covered. It says deadline for filing action. Any action that's not filed within court within 1 year of commencement against any party is deemed dismissed with prejudice against all parties, unless you get consent otherwise, which I'm assuming didn't happen.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about, right? Hip pocket service is just the name for the fact that in Minnesota, to actually start the lawsuit, you don't need to file to start. The moment you serve them, the lawsuit is considered started. And then you have a year to file. And if you don't, it goes away forever. That's what dismissed with prejudice means. It goes bye-bye forever, for all the times. And so it's dead. It's just dead.
So it has to be done that way?
So those are my receipts. So if Steve McRae has other receipts, I'm happy, but those are my receipts.
So you have to do it that way, right? Because I read this whole thing about how it helps, make sure the court isn't so backed up and people can try to figure it out amongst themselves and whatever. So I know that that's part of the reason why they do that. But do you have to do it that way, or could you say I'm going to skip that and just do a regular lawsuit?
Yes. You could just go to court and file. This is really because Minnesota is a big state and there's a lot of rural communities. So the reason why they do it this way is because they want you can start your lawsuit simply without going to court, and then eventually, if it's supposed to try to make people settle lawsuits, right? We don't got to go to court. Why do we have to pay the $400 court fees? Why do we have to do all that if we can settle and I'm going to sue you? So that's the theory behind it. But it's it's harsh, because if you don't file it within that year, we call it SOL, blank out of luck. But it's really statute of limitations, but we call it, blank out of luck. Yeah.
We swear around here. you guys must not have heard my Steve McRae song, but I was like, I wanted to. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, law tube's coming. Maybe I shouldn't.
Steve McRae.
It felt like being on my good behavior.
What's weird about Minnesota is they consider the lawsuit started the moment that you give the other person the copy, which is a little weird, because it's not unheard of for a lawyer to send someone. Well, they send them a demand letter. Is normally how we solve that. And sometimes, although it's a little bit rare, sometimes you'll even go so far as to draft a proposed lawsuit in some sort of version of formality. It's like, well, I'm planning on suing you unless you do X. Here's some version of a lawsuit I'm planning on filing, and just give it to them as part of a negotiation process. So you can do this informally anyway. Minnesota just has this weird thing that if you do it, it becomes formal. And so it's this weird sort of Minnesota curiosity that doesn't make any sense to me, but that's how Minnesota rolls. So what it doesn't have to make sense to me.
It's such a weird
it's
name,
just raw.
like hip pocket, like what? Like I've never heard that until this.
No, near did I. I didn't believe it
was
existed when I first heard about it.
Yeah, you were arguing with me.
I had Nick and Kate explain it to me for 45 minutes before I was convinced it actually was a thing. Because I'm like, this is so bizarre.
I've never heard of it. Like I'm in Massachusetts, I've never heard of that. But interesting. So I also wanted to ask, like, so PJ has a good question here. So because the time has expired, he cannot take this legal action against her ever again, or is it just with the stuff he already tried to,
All right, all the claims that he made in his lawsuit regarding that situation are barred. So it's like that lawsuit, all his claims about, she said this, it's like that thing doesn't exist anymore. So he can never sue based on any of those claims again. Now, if something new happens, he can sue her for that new stuff. But all the stuff that he's already that was in that complaint, in that lawsuit, essentially, Katie Joy Paulson has won the lawsuit. It's a total victory for her. Concerning his claims.
It considered a victory though? Like, is it a victory technically? Okay,
if you're suing me for something and your case is dismissed with prejudice, it's a victory for me.
There's some people arguing that it's not a victory.
Sure, that's a technical victory. Why not?
Yeah, it's a tech. Well, yeah, it's any case. If somebody's suing you for $1 million, the judge says, "I'm dismissing this case with prejudice," I count that as a victory for my client. What about you, Kurt?
It's not a victory. It's not like this is how diluted, and it's like they convince themselves that there's just no way. Like it just blows my mind. I don't know, man.
Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute since I read that hip pocket lawsuit. But when I read it, I seem to remember thinking it was pretty garbage.
You said it was bad. You said it was doo-doo.
Maybe with the $8,000 he apparently expensed. Apparently he consulted maybe several lawyers. That's the only way we get to $8,000. And maybe several lawyers told him it was not going to work.
Yeah, I had a lot of questions about that on Twitter. Like, can you ask them how much he spent? I'm like, I don't think they're going to know how much he spent. We have his receipts. But like, as far as your legal standpoint, like, does that seem accurate in your opinion?
Let's go.
We got the PowerPoints because I got the breakdown, so I broke it down to the PowerPoint. But first, let's get this high money super chats. Got a 50, got a 20. We want to hold these people up. Let's get they paid some money to hit them speak.
I know, for real. I told them, I'm like, look, guys, I'm gonna do the best I can here. But we did have that $50 one, and he wanted to ask you about. Hold on, I hate StreamYard. I can never go back. That's why I get nervous, and I'm like, I have to talk about it now. All right, Sinfully Sweet. Thank you for your sticker, Sinfully Sweet. Appreciate that a lot.
You can star them too. Like you see, there's a little star on the upper right hand side. If you hit that star, a new window comes up to save them. Yeah, so you can save all the super chats to the end if you want.
Thank you, Nate.
And you can actually click. You can click anything on a chat, any chat message, and you can star it, and it'll save it.
Good looking out, dude. I did not know that. Thank you. Okay, awesome. There's something new every day from the LawTube guys. All right, here we go. So Brandon had asked you, right? Explain to me how the case started, party claims, etc. Oh boy.
Sure. Well, first, go to Uncivil Law's channel because he broke down the lawsuit many, many times. So he has literally the lawsuit. He reads it off the So Uncivil Law is the person I think would be best to explain this because he's the one. He just, matter of fact, read the which one, the Katie Joy thing for Todd Chrisley. You just read that. So I don't know if you want to.
Well, that's a lawsuit. Like Todd Chrisley has nothing better to do with his time.
Yes. But
you know what's crazy about that? Like she kind of stopped talking about him, and he just went on and on. It's like a ex that can't let go almost. Like he just never let it go. And he actually watched the whole Tati thing go down, and still thought that he would have a chance in hell to win this. Like,
doesn't make
like
any
what
sense.
do you guys think he was? I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Go ahead. What were you saying, Nate?
No, you're right. Todd Chrisley case was a loser when we first saw it. We laughed at it when we first saw it, right, Kurt? We all laughed at it. We all looked at it, and then you have like these idiots saying, "This is such a good case. This is such a good case." And we're like, "This case is horrible," and her countersuit is just as bad too. Her countersuit is just as bad, but it's all horrible stuff. But to answer this super chat, the parties are Katie Joy Paulson from Without a Crystal Ball and Steve McRae from the Non Sequitur Show. Steve is claiming defamation. He's claiming both defamation per se and defamation per quad, which is just regular defamation. And he's saying that she said a whole bunch of things that harmed his reputation and career. His lawsuit was pretty thin, pretty weak. But essentially that was it in a nutshell. He was claiming that she said false things and that he could prove they were false. Obviously, if he could, we'd probably be seeing a lawsuit right now. But he served her with the complaint. Uncivil Law and myself, we all covered the complaint. The complaint was pretty wretched. And even though he served the complaint, he had 1 year to then file it in court, and he has not filed that lawsuit. But yet he did a fundraiser to file the lawsuit, and we're about to get into that right now. So that's essentially what we're talking about. We're talking about a defamation suit, and there was also a countersuit for defamation, but Katie Joy Paulson said she is not going forward with her lawsuit because Steve has no money. Well, she's honestly in the best place. I'll say this, to sue Steve. Now, people have to follow the logic train here. Steve's lawsuit was done 2 days ago because he hip pocket served Katie. But Katie's lawsuit, her countersuit, is still live. I think for like another couple of days because she served him afterwards. So she still has a year. So she's in a weird position, which I think is the best position that anybody wants to be in, where she has a live lawsuit against Steve, but Steve's lawsuit against her has been dismissed with prejudice. So really, she can now continue her lawsuit with Steve. And people have to understand how horrible a position Steve is in. Steve has waived any claim to jurisdiction by suing her in Minnesota. Yep. Steve is a bum. Steve is a bum who lives in California. So Steve essentially would have to, if Katie Joy Paulson wanted to keep her lawsuit going, Steve would have to defend a lawsuit from California in rural Minnesota where KJ lives. So he's got, that means hire an attorney. That means flying back and forth. So she has him essentially by the balls. And if she was to continue on with her lawsuit, I'm assuming that Steve doesn't have the money to fight it, because don't forget, he's not fighting in California. He's fighting in Minnesota, almost halfway across the country.
Shouldn't he have thought about this ahead of time? Like,
you would think somebody would, but for some reason he didn't. So now he's essentially sitting back there. That's why I think he's doing all these streams about, Katie's lawsuit is BS, because he's afraid that now, since his lawsuit is gone, her lawsuit is still live, and he can be really, but her lawsuit is still live. So if she wants to, even if her lawsuit is frivolous, let's say her lawsuit it could be dismissed. Does he have the money to pay for the motion to dismiss? Does he have the money to go through all that? I think he's screwed. But Katie Joy Paulson says she will not sue him. She's dropping it because he's a bum and it's not worth it for her. Which is that? So
I like this from Steve McRae. How's a case that has no filing number nor judge assigned dismissed exactly? Ooh, I know the answer, Steve.
I found it in 30 seconds.
5.04a.
It took me 30 seconds to find that answer on Google. I don't know why.
I can help you out with the legal education point, Steve. Now you know.
But understand this, how deceptive this is, because you guys just heard the clip. All of you people watching now heard the clip of him saying he knew for a fact that his case would be dismissed with prejudice if he didn't file. And look what he's saying now. Yep. That shows you the mentality and the deception that he's throwing out there to people that he knows he's lying. He knows he's lying.
He does. He knows he's lying. And that's the most frustrating part of all, right? Like, bro, we're not stupid. It's insulting. It's literally insulting that he's here calling people like me a dishonest agent and all this stuff. Like, we're not dumb. Like, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed here, but I can use Google, and you're definitely lying, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know if he's lying or not. I won't go that far personally. I'm not going to make those kinds of aspersions. I'll simply say that he's incorrect. And the relevant rules I've quoted to show his incorrectness.
Well, I'm saying he's lying because he clearly said he understood the rule. He clearly said he knew he had 6 months, and then he clearly is now saying that all that's untrue. So it's I think he's being willfully deceitful. But I do.
He deceived people like this right here, like, we're moving into this discovery. Now you guys might not know this, but like in the Katie Joy community, like, discovery, like that's like a big thing, because like we want all these people that we want to know what Katie's really doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like she has to turn over everything, like you guys remember with the whole freaking thing.
You weren't in
like,
the discovery
so
phase.
He used that.
You might have been sharing information as part of this process, but you weren't in the discovery phase.
He
was no
knew
discovery
that.
phase.
It was a part of his spiel, of his sales pitch. It was a part of it, like, ooh, because he knows that discovery is like a whoa, we'll find out secret information.
We don't have to be in the discovery phase for us to engage in discovery amongst ourselves. We can agree mutually to share information amongst ourselves and say, okay, we're in informal discovery. Again, this might be something a lawyer might do, right? I give you a demand letter, perhaps with a pseudo claim, or maybe more driven out, right? And maybe we engage in some sort of exchange of documents amongst ourselves to try to resolve it informally. So yeah, you can have all kinds of informal processes. The courts don't care, if you guys are doing whatever informally, as long as you don't need a referee, they're happy. But you weren't in discovery phase. That has rules and process. That was not what was going on.
Let me go back. What did he call it? It was called initial disclosures. Can you guys elaborate on what?
You weren't in that phase either.
You're so cold to you're just shouting about it. Don't forget, he's trying to tell us.
That's just a factual claim, and I'm just making a factual claim back. That's not true.
All right, listen. But you know what though? But before we get more into these, let's dive into the money a little bit, because I found something interesting in the money. Okay. Let me share this, because I know you guys like the tea, so I like to bring the receipts so people can go and drink a lot more of this tea. So
you guys are awesome. I'm so glad you came. Thank you for coming, by the way. I'm so excited.
So check. I'm sharing the PowerPoint right now. So remember earlier I showed you when he said he knew about the rule. But now we've all talked about Steve. Let's understand there's a timeline here, right? So Steve raised money for this lawsuit, but I'm going to show you guys the paper trail of the finances. So we know now Steve's fundraiser was in October. So everything I'm showing you is before October. So on 8/16 here, that's when there was the process of service. He filed the lawsuit. He served Katie, and that cost him $76, because you can say. But in July of last year, there was a $5,000 deposit into the trust account. So now the trust account it's in the retainer, and you're going to draw down on the retainer. So that's why if you look at here where it says total current billing, it's $5,599.26. Now that $599.26, that was a leftover balance that Steve already had with these people. So that's why you see the total payments of $5,000 removed, and you see this bill of $599 left. So that's because whatever he's done some business with these lawyers before, and they had this balance of $599 left. So he's paid the $5,000 for the retainer for the defamation suit, but then he had about $600 left from something else that he had with these people.
He's getting a bad deal. I was able to determine it was crap for free.
But now this is
I can make one of these, not for nothing, real quick. I can literally make one of these under 5 minutes. Like there's templates out there and stuff. So
yeah.
It doesn't. I don't even know. Do we? I don't know.
But you know what though? Let's not think about the authenticity. Let's just look at what it says, because because if we go to that brings up a whole nother issues, which there are issues here, the redactions. But let's just look at what it says, because I think Steve doesn't realize that we actually read these things to see what it says. Mm-hmm. So this is the second receipt. Again, this is the backup for the $5,000 retainer on July 29th. So you see it down here, July 29th on the bottom right hand, $5,000 retainer. Now we don't know who paid this. This could be Ruef, this could be Steve, but again, this is 3 months before the fundraiser. This is now a month before the fundraiser, September 2nd, 2021. So he paid that $599.26. Remember that extra money he had from something previous? He paid. This is him paying that off. So he did that in September, 1 month before the fundraiser. Okay. And this money, this is $2,584. So this is another payment. Again, this is about 1 week or 2 weeks before the fundraiser. So before the fundraiser, Steve has paid about $8,000, $5,000 retainer, this $25.80. That all is before the fundraiser. So then Steve has the fundraiser on October 19th. Now, this is the big question. Steve received $4,000 for that fundraiser. How much money do you think he spent on this case after he received that $4,000?
Dun, 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 dun.
$700. So after the $4,000 he's received, only thing he has, and he put the receipts up. Here it is. $225 on July 8th, 2022. And then this is another one for December 16th, 2021, 2 months after it. So $450 and $225. So he took in $4,000 and only paid $678 after the fundraiser. So my question is, what happened to all the rest of that money? Because
not to mention the PayPals and super chats.
Yeah, because the $4,000 he got from the $4,000 he got from the event, he only used $700 based on his own receipts from GoFundMe. So what happened to the rest of that money? Did he essentially pay himself back? Just imagine that. He's like, hey, I paid for a lawsuit 5 years ago, but I'm raising money to pay myself back.
The lawsuit, and so he's using money to pay his back dues on the lawsuit. I mean, there's something there.
There's something there. But the thing is, what AZ just read didn't say anything about him paying himself back for money he already spent. It was saying, I need to raise money for a lawsuit that I'm going to file.
Exactly.
So I've got $5,000 for a lawsuit I want to file. I raised the $5,000, but only pay $700 out and say, yeah, I use the rest of the money to pay myself back. So essentially what we got here, if you're looking at this,
imagine if you had a goal.
Well, we have but check this out. We have about $8,000 in receipts. And the only thing Steve did was mail Katie Joy a piece of paper.
No. Paid $75 for someone to send it to him, but yeah.
$75 to send it to him. But again, so we got about $8,000 in legal fees. And the only thing he did for not filing the lawsuit. I need to get these lawyers jobs. Please pay me $8,000 not to file a lawsuit. That's a lot
of money. That is a lot of money. I mean, to get out the door with an initial complaint. I mean, it's half that. If yeah.
This is insane. So I know. What
was he? I think he was thinking like that she wouldn't want to take it that far, and like she would settle, and he'd have the profit from if he met his goal and money from her, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm rich, bitch." You know what I'm saying? Like, was that the goal?
It was shit lawsuit. People, I mean, except for the 7M lawsuit, which is the only one that has any legs to it, almost all the lawsuits against Katie Joy have been shit. So why would she settle? Because they're all crap.
Yeah, that's why I'm convinced, in my opinion only, that he saw an opportunity and took it. And I don't even know if I believe these, because everything else he says is a lie at this point, to me anyways. I mean, speaking for myself here, but so all right, now speaking of the money and stuff like that, I had got ahead of myself asking you this before, but like from your experience, does that even seem like a legit amount of money to pay somebody to file something like that? That's crazy.
The retainer. Well, $8,000. $8,000 is ridiculous. But usually a normal retainer is about $5,000 for something like this, a defamation case. I can see a normal retainer like that. And you're talking about just the filing fees and doing a little research. I can see maybe $1,000-$2,000 just to set up, file, and all that type of stuff. And then if you're looking at the countersuits, you may be into the $3,000-$4,000 range, but $8,000 for a lawsuit that's not filed in court, that just seems really insane. That would be like that lawyer's making $1,000 an hour, and it's like, I know Steve hasn't got that type of money paying somebody.
Well, I plan to invest my entire life savings into this and have a few options for loans if needed. I have excellent with stars around it. I'm all in here. Okay. All right.
You seem to be a little less than all in, to be honest. Below $8,000. Maybe $8,000 is all in for you. I don't know about your budget.
Clearly. If he was here right now, that's what he would say. Well, I said all in. That was all I had, and it was in.
I mean, if all you have is $8,000, you're not lying. So,
he's all in. And the lawyer saw a fool and was like, let's take all $8,000, and guess what? We probably won't have to file a thing.
All right. I think you were telling me about that the star in the super chats too. That really helped me. Thank you. But I want to get to the Twitter ones real quick, if you don't mind. So we just went through that. All right. That's like Katie Joy will not collect fees, correct, guys? If she wanted to, she probably could, right? But she literally sounds like, anyways, she doesn't even want to deal with it at this point. which
You'd
I
have to
think he
find some
should because
reason
he's
to
never
collect
going to
fees.
stop. Don't you?
You'd have to
think
find some sort of fee shifting statute that would apply, and maybe there's one in Minnesota, but none has come to my attention. Some sort of Minnesota doesn't have anti-slap, does it?
I'm not sure. I have to look it up. That's a Nick question. But
Yeah,
but
I
what
don't think Minnesota has anti-slap, so I don't know what basis she would use to get attorney's fees on.
unless there's a clause within the filing, because sometimes I know some states have that way. Let's say if I send you letters and you don't do anything with them, then you have to pay my attorney's fees, but they shouldn't be that much. So I'm not sure if Hip Pocket does that, where you serve somebody, they have to respond, and then maybe that would happen. But again, I'm not sure if they have something like that.
So just to be clear, just because people like to hear you say it out loud, there's no way he could have done discovery. Is that correct?
Not in a formal legal sense, no. In an informal sense, where it's like we just agreeing to share documents, sure, but not in a formal sense, no.
No, because the court, it's a compulsory.
You're not in formal discovery until you get past first you have to file, and then you're talking about a motion to dismiss, motion for summary judgment. Once you get past that, that's when you're into a formal discovery process.
Yeah, just to be clear, there's two ways you can commit discovery. You can do a compulsory discovery, which is the court telling you got to do this. It's the Alex Jones thing, and you can do one where you agree to turn over certain documents and stuff like that. Now, generally, no one does discovery until the court says you have a good lawsuit. That's what the motion to dismiss is for. So in most cases, that's why with Tati Westbrook, as Kurt noted before, when they went to court, they wanted to do discovery, and even Todd Chrisley wanted to do discovery, but you put the motion to dismiss, because if the motion to dismiss is good and your case is BS and judge says this is a BS case and throws it out, then if you went to discovery, it's a very intrusive process. So the courts don't want you to do that unless the person has a legitimate case to bring forward. So that's why in this case, it's highly unlikely, unless Katie Joy Paulson is saying that she did it, because they consented to it. But other than consent, no, it's hell of a likely not that they didn't go through discovery.
Yeah, Irish wanted to know, did this case not proceed due to the plaintiff withdrawing? Was there any activity by the plaintiff's attorneys after the initial filings for the hip pocket in 2021? The plaintiff had a strong case. Would their attorneys be committing legal malpractice? Attorneys take money for whatever, right?
Yeah, well, this is there are a couple of things. Number one, I'm saying, if you have the greatest case on the planet, if you're run out of statute of limitations, you're SOL, like I was to say. So Steve's case, as we've all seen, was trash from the beginning. And it was not long for this world. If it went to court, it was getting thrown out. Just like Todd Chrisley's case was trash when we first saw it, and it was likely getting thrown out. So the strength of the case really doesn't matter. This is honestly not about how strong or weak the case was, which was a weak case. This is about someone essentially sending someone a letter saying, I'm suing you in Minnesota, waiting a year, and raising money, waiting a year, and then just saying, well, hey, I spent the money to send her a complaint. I spent you gave me $4,000. I sent Katie a complaint, told you it was discovery, and now I'm keeping your money, and the only thing you have is my anger that I can't sue her anymore. That's essentially what you got here.
All right, thank you for answering that for Irish. So there is no recall. Okay, so cannot be pursued. We already went over that. Yeah, I think we got these ones.
So without a crystal ball saying there's some sort of discovery process before formal filing. If that's true, then I'll stand corrected. If that's true, I can always learn something more about Minnesota specific eccentricities.
But there's always consensual discovery, though. Like if you could have consensual discovery. So even though she's talking about the compulsory discovery, which may be true, but you always have consensual. And I'll never see, because I've been in a case where there was consensual discovery, but it was limited for the motion to dismiss. But they consented to discovery on this one point. So
yesterday, right? It says today, but this was actually yesterday. WOACB is still suing me. Steve, go home. You're drunk. Like, come on, Steve. Really? Like, she already said out publicly that she's not. Why is he's still holding on to hope? He's still like, no, I didn't scam it. I was just paying myself back. Like, what are you doing? So annoying.
But think about how crazy that is, though.
Disabled.
Let's say I have a fundraiser to pay my tuition. Help me pay my tuition. Pay my tuition. You give me $4,000, and you say, "Hey Nate, how's school?" And I say, "Yeah, you helped me pay my tuition. I went to school 10 years ago."
I know. You already paid it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's a perfect example. Thank you. So he disabled it. As of today, you can no longer donate, which is crazy because I thought that would go on for perpetuity.
Until he gets his justice.
Yeah. Oh, you already showed all these. Thank you, by the way. I can't believe you guys came with your stuff. All right.
You are talking to two law tubers here, so we gotta cover receipts.
I underestimated you guys for real.
We like to pretend we know what we're doing. We like to pretend it's like
no. I'm the one that has to pretend.
Like, well, here's what's going on.
All right. In your question, opinion, and experience, is it wise to, once you start the hip pocket process, to take to Twitter to spend a year constantly commenting on and disparaging the defendant in the suit? Gee, I'd say that's probably not a good idea. But I'm not a law professional.
Well, if you really have it, why would you have to some degree? Like, if you have it in your lawsuit, why do you need to go to Twitter to do that? Like, just let the lawsuit speak for itself.
Exactly.
It can speak for, and I let the law speak for itself. I listened to it carefully, with close attention, and what I heard was, so yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's no one's fault, but like Unirock and them and the internet, things. I don't know how. Listen, I don't even know how anyone out here could be blamed for that. Like, I just want to go over this, then I'm gonna get to super chats real quick, and then we're gonna have a celebration with a cool song. And thank you, by the way. Listen, I think the best medicine for stuff like this is, especially in the internet, like you have to laugh. Sometimes you have to laugh stop from crying or screaming. Like, I think, memes are it. Like, I'm sorry. And I gave out a blank meme to you guys on Twitter because it was just so fun. And I just want to go over a couple of them. Let's just have a little break of funness real quick because this is just killing me. All right. So one of these, gosh, I can't see that good. I need to get a bigger screen, you guys. All right. It says Applebee's coupons are welcome. I love that one. On Discord, my name's Applebee's manager or something like that. I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. Manya, please come back with your credit card, Manya. But she's one of his sister wives that left and took her money back. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she got out.
Yep. Donate to a fecal impaction veteran. Oh my God, there is a long story behind that where Steve showed papers that he had fecal impaction, had to use his finger. I don't know. I'll save that story for another day. Okay.
That means he's full of shit, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Currently, I only accept cash because of my Medi-Cal. That's hilarious. All right, and then friends don't pay friends. Chesh. And, if you've been around and followed this nonsense, another sister wife left Chesh because he wouldn't do what he said he was going to do. Shocker! Isn't it funny how that happens? He didn't do what he said he was going to do. Okay, hungry for lobster rolls. That's an inside joke too. But yeah. So I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. And accountability, exactly, Irish Badass, another one from you. Accountability goes both ways. The creators involved with endorsing this BS need to apologize to the supporters, because there were a couple creators out there who were like, yeah, this is great, but they couldn't tell you why. And it's just very disappointing to try to help somebody, it's just BS. It just drives me crazy. Let me take this off real quick. And dude, I can't believe I've been on YouTube this whole time and didn't know about the stars. Katie's in my chat. Are you trying to get me in trouble again?
Katie's in the chat. Yeah,
last time she came in the chat, it was a whole thing.
Oh my
That's
God!
All right. I understand why she's here. I'm not mad about it.
We are definitely talking about the mini lawsuits. You keep us employed like crazy because we get something to talk about.
Another lawsuit burned to dust. For Katie Joy Paulson. It's another victory because it's just I know. You can like her or not like her, but please stop filing garbage lawsuits. That would be great.
Yeah, if you don't like it, you gotta.
Lawsuits are not a dislike button.
That's a good one, Kurt. Lawsuits are not a dislike button. I like that
a
lot.
Stay out of my house with this trash.
They actually file against her. I have people tell me all the time they're going to sue me, but they never come in the mail. I never get them. I never get served or nothing. So hey, that's
the thing though with this is that let's just stop pity patting around the point. The fact of the matter is, people were taken advantage of, right? The hate for Katie Joy Polson, which is strong out there. The Force is strong with the hate, Katie. I'm sorry. If you were a Jedi, you would be Darth Vader, right? The Force is strong with her, right?
She'd be the justification Jedi.
Not the Jedi. She'd be Vader. People like, we gotta get her, stop her. But that hate was used to fleece people for some of their cash, right? To say, so. I'm going to sue this person, get $4,000 and only spend $700 on a lawsuit and say, hey, I paid myself back. That doesn't work. But you know what's going to happen is that people are going to say, well, let's just give them a pass. Let's give them the fact of the matter is, you guys were taken.
What'd you do? You put a big red thing over
I feel like
face.
You capitalized off of it,
okay.
for sure. Yeah, Planet Double Downtown. I just want to teach. Hey, I'm sorry I'm covering your face. Planet Double Downtown, you are here. Like the you like you just gotta tell them like it is. Like
no, but that is just the reality. If you gave to this lawsuit, you were taken because he didn't use that money to file a lawsuit. Or, again, it only costs like $300 or $400. Maybe what, $500 to actually file the lawsuit in court, right? It's not that much. But he couldn't even do that, right? He couldn't even spend the money just to do. You file it just so people wouldn't feel
he's got it already written. He got it already written. All you have to do is walk down there, man,
and just pay the fee. Pay the fee. You don't even need the lawyers, right? You literally take your lawsuit and just pay the fee. But he didn't even feel to respect you guys that much to pay a couple of $100 to at least file the lawsuit. He said, you know what? It's gone away forever, and I'm still keeping your money. A boss move. You got to respect the game because not most people are going to just accept that and let them take it. And then what he's going to do? They're going to have another fundraiser. You're going to take your money again.
And this happens all the time on the internet. We need like internet police. I'm dead serious. Like this is crazy. And there's nothing you can really do. Like a bunch of the questions out there too were like, can he get in trouble for, scamming? Like, no, it's all in how you word it. And like people do this all day, every day on YouTube. It's crazy.
I don't want to. Let's just let the facts be what they are in terms of like the timeline, right? Just let the facts be where he was. Like he paid the lawyers on these dates. He raised money on these dates. He provided receipts for this money on these dates. There's money unaccounted for. Just let the facts be them for themselves.
That's true.
I don't personally want to say that he's a liar. I don't personally want to say he's a fraudster. I can say that the money that he raised has been unaccounted for in terms of any forward-looking efforts towards the lawsuit, which are now, by my account, legally dead. The only way it could be legally still alive is with the consent of Katie Joy Polson. She'd have to agree to keep it alive. I'm going to assume that didn't happen. So,
I'm sure she'd be like, sure, Steve.
Yeah, let's sue me.
In writing, incidentally.
That's
trust
a scary thing, man. Along with a lot of skeezy people out here, there are a lot of good-hearted people out here who want to believe that the person telling them what they need the money for is really what it's for. And I know that these good people with huge hearts and lots of money and whatever exists out here. And that's really scary to me. So I find it really important that when things like this happen and, you feel like you got I feel like it's really important to talk about it. It makes me feel yucky.
I need money so the three of us can go on a binge fueled celebration.
I'm in recovery, but I'm down. I'm just kidding. I'll go with Nate in that, Uncivil. I mean, maybe, but.
Listen, I need money to pay for my tuition. So 10 years ago. So please look out for me, baby.
We got something. We got a problem here. We gotta have to. Leon, are you ready, Leon? Leon, are you ready, Leon? Fire up the craft. Fire up.
Yo, Leon, fire up the craft.
Steve.
Okay.
We really don't appreciate the price gas expensive, Steve. We have to take you. You got to go, Steve. You got to go. Leon's firing up the craft. He's coming to the closet. You got to go, right? You can't be coming around our community scamming people like that. In my opinion, not the opinion of the toy lawyers up here, okay? Because I know they're going to speak all correctly and stuff. Well, some of them anyways.
Yeah, that's the kind of language I'd like to avoid being on the record for reasons. I'll just let the facts speak for themselves and call it a day.
Yeah. It's funny because, these people have been involved in the cancer Remember the cancer fraud
Yeah.
fundraiser? Somebody came out and said, we got cancer. They did fundraisers. Come to find out, the person never had cancer. The person lied about it. We busted them cold. And it was like, oh, okay, we didn't know. Then we had the other GoFundMe fraud when they said their friend was homeless. He's homeless. He's got no home. His lease is up. Come to find out, his lease had like another 12 months on it and all this other stuff. So it was like a whole nother big set of lies. So we've got $10,000 for fake homelessness, another $10,000 for fake cancer. Now we got this lawsuit. It's like, and don't forget, we had the fake when they said one of the channels were taken down fake, and they presented a fake email. So this is exactly what they do: fake emails, fake cancer, fake everything. Yeah, and this is from this same group all the time. And now we got this next one, and Kurt wants to be nice and say it may not be. So you know what? I'll say it too. It may not be anything nefarious. It may not be thing. But if someone takes my $4,000 and only spends $700 and says I use the money for stuff I already paid for, I wouldn't be too happy about it.
Nope. And these people, they're all out here and they all say the same thing. You know what they say? I swear on my life, I'm not a dumpy dump. Like, don't be a dumpy dump. You know what I'm saying? Just don't do that. But so where was I here? Listen, I think it's about that time. I do want to get a couple to the super chats too. But before we do that, I can't have a Steve McRae a little stream and not do this. And I was gonna be like all good and like try to be professional and stuff. But like, since Nate knows the song and Uncivil, you want to dance? Come on, ready? Because we're gonna play the jam right now. And if you're in the chat,
I'll dance with you. Let's dance.
Yeah, and you don't know this song, hold on. Let me get it ready here. I'm always hitting buttons when I'm not ready. You know what I'm saying? All right. So if you're in the chat and you don't know this song, okay, you are missing out.
Let's rave together.
Yeah, let's rave. Let's have this is a really important meeting we're having right now. All right. I got to get rid of StreamYard. I hate StreamYard. Okay.
You and Kurt need to get together. He hates it too, so I love it.
It's the worst. It's the worst. All right, I remixed this track, right? I remastered it. It's for your listening pleasure. It's called it's Steve McRae and Dottie, one of his sister wives. She's MIA. I don't know where she is. It doesn't matter. But this is the anthem right here. It's the anthem. Get your damn hands up. Oh.
That might excite me. Oh, Dottie, you could come and bite me, but please don't bite me, cause you might excite me. Steve McRae is a punk motherfucker. Steve McRae is a sorry son of a bitch. Steve McRae is a punk motherfucker. Steve McRae is a sorry son of a bitch. You could come and bite me, but please do it lightly, cause that might excite me. Oh, Dottie, you could come and bite me, but please do it lightly, cause you might excite me. Steve McRae is a punk motherfucker. Steve McRae is a sorry son of a bitch. Steve McRae is a punk motherfucker. Steve McRae is a sorry son of a bitch.
You guys are going to hell. AZ, if you're talking, you're muted.
Act like you don't know all the words, Nate. Act like you know the words. I know you don't know.
I do, because I watched your show. That's why I watched you.
I have fun with it, right? Like, that is funny to me. Like, that was like a freestyle from somebody who's just absolutely bananas. But I thought it was hilarious. And, you know, I'm all about creativity. That was pretty creative. I think that was
all really I need now is a Stoli and a Stogie, and I'm already there, man.
Yeah. Right. I mean, have you guys ever been on a T channel stream like this before? You law tubers, huh? Have you? Probably not.
Oh man, we don't roll this way.
They're going to be
We're
like,
missing out.
Nate and Uncivil Law are not allowed in the LawTube community anymore because they were over there dancing to some derogatory music. You're going to get the data.
Oh, trust me, you haven't watched any of our streams. Just watch a Ricada stream or one of those streams. You'll see it. It gets real raunchy real quick.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I'm forgetting about that. All right, so we got the Brandon one. Okay. PJ, we got that one. Okay. I'm so excited about this new trick. Oh my God. Okay, so cool. Thank you, Sinfully Sweet. Thank you, PJ, by the way. And Brandon, I don't know if I actually said thank you out loud. Kiki Ray. Nate, please. You just got to see his Bubba heads. I don't know if Nate wants to perform, Nate. That's on you.
Oh my God. I said a little bit earlier, but I'm not going to.
You have to rewind. I'll put timestamp. Thank you, Kiki. You're gonna have that song stuck in your head, Kurt. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Banger. Yeah. It really is. Breezy, thank you. Breezy is crushing on the Sandman. Oh, okay, Breezy. Ooh. All right, thank you. This is Mr. Crystal Ball. Hi, Mr. Crystal Ball. In my opinion, all of the folks he ripped off should bring a class action lawsuit against him.
Well, it's probably not worth it. The juice is not worth the squeeze.
How much can he pay?
There actually has some sort of refund policy you could look into.
Yeah, a few people have done that on GoFundMe. I don't think that comes out of his pocket, though. I think that comes out of GoFundMe's pocket. I'm pretty sure if that's how it works anyways.
Well, either way.
That might be why he disabled payment options, too, because he was probably scared that like he was going to get in trouble with GoFundMe for people requesting refunds. Because I know a lot of it's happened. I don't know why they didn't, act on that. But thank you, Von Art Guitars. All right, yeah, we have that imp chick, Nate with his PowerPoints. That's why I love him. Oh, they're so organized, aren't they?
Well, this is easy to do. Just look at the receipts, look at the dates. I know. Don't forget, we do this.
I literally just figured out Google Slides. I'm like, Google Slides is freaking cool. Like, I've never even thought of doing that. And, it's so funny you've had it up. All right, that's it. Yep. That's why I love him. You ever get love for your Google Slides? I mean, for your PowerPoints?
Oh, yeah. No, well, I got a 4.3 million view video, and that's all Google Slides.
Really?
Yeah. So actually, all my videos that have 1 million views are all Google Slides. That's my secret.
Kidding.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
Breezy.
People like
Breezy.
People like PowerPoint presentations.
They're very nice and easy to follow. I have to agree. Thank you, Breezy. Breezy must be feeling the stream. Thank you. All right. Love all this. I said. I saw that. What a cool name. I saw that. You don't miss nothing. Thank you very much. Love all this. Much love to all this. Now, last time Katie Joy Paulson came in my chat, there was like a big uproar. But let me tell you guys something right now. For all you caterers in the building. I don't care about the wrong that Katie does. If she's right about something, I am not going to put my moral code aside and pretend like I don't see it. Like, how do some of you people sleep at night? Like, yep, I don't agree with her on X, Y, and Z, but I don't turn a blind eye to A, B, and C just to, impress the homies or whatever it is you're trying to do out here on the internet. I don't really know, but it's very weird that some of you, stick up for these creators who hate Katie just because they hate Katie. Get your head checked. Anyways, you can do discovery through Hip Pocket. There was no contact with Steve after our counterclaim. You can do discovery before you file. Steve just never started discovery. Steve, Element, and Tina all used the same attorney. Oh, now that was a rumor too.
Sure. Yeah, we were talking about this. Yeah, in an informal sense. Yeah, of course you can. You can. I don't know whether or not she means it in a formal sense, but yeah. Again, like in my state or most states, you would send this through. You do this as a demand letter, as we said. You might exchange some documents in an informal sense. Mm-hmm. So whether or not, but you say you can do discovery before you file, just never start discovery. See, that's like when I think about discovery, I think about it as like a formal stage of the proceedings. Like discovery has started. It's not just something that like you start. It's like there's windows for it. So I don't know if we're using it in like the formal sense, but yeah, I mean, you can always exchange information amongst yourselves willingly. That's fine, and often prudent.
Yeah, because what I think she's not understanding is that we're talking specifically about compulsive discovery versus consent.
Yeah,
so she's talking about consensual discovery
before court. Who would be compelling it?
Yeah. It's you don't get compelled discovery until you have a court said you guys got to go to discovery. So I don't know who would do discovery during hip like that's like dumb for me. Like, really, we're gonna do discovery? I don't even know if your case is good. Let's go through this motion to dismiss before I give you anything to help your case.
Like
right?
I said, that whole discovery thing, in my opinion, I feel like he threw that out there because he knew that would get the people in this community more interested. Like, oh yeah, let's get Katie's DMs. You know what I'm saying? Like that was part of the whole thing.
I have a sneaking suspicion that Katie's DMs are not really that exciting in the end.
I'm not gonna say nothing about that. All right, so Katie is in chat answering and correcting some questions to what y'all are saying. By the way, thank you, PJ, for letting me know. Appreciate that. Donna, thank you for the sticker, Donna. Rose, AZ, can you drop the link for Katie? She's in chat. No. Rose, I love you a long time, but no thanks. I'm good. Katie, you know what I'm saying? No. And it's not. I'm gonna shut up. So Navy, great stream. Y'all love the panel. What?
Navy, my boy.
Yeah,
Navy's my boy.
Navy. The Uni fam actually put out some really good edited videos lately about like Steve and things like that. And I'm gonna leave some links in this description after, obviously to like Uncivil's information about the Steve thing, Nate's, whatever. And then I'm gonna link some of those videos too. And another thing to touch on what I was just saying, right, about not bringing yourself to see the truth, even though you know it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't imagine hating somebody so much, but yet watching them all day, every day. Like, don't get me wrong. A lot of my subscribers came from that Katie area. I'll never deny that, but it's very unhealthy to watch somebody day in and day out and constantly hawk them if you really dislike them that much. And the more I look around this community, the more I see that, and I'm just mind blown that some of these people have got themselves to a point where they just rather not see it and overlook it and side with creators that are just as bad. This whole community kind of devoured itself in that sense, and I'm kind of like, when people call me part of the anti-KJs, I kind of cringe, like, oh, how did I get here? Like, you know. So people, like, again, just open your eyes, man. Like, check out these links I'm gonna leave and just pay attention, you know. Brandon, thank you. I can't remember if I got that one, Brandon. Thank you. Do you guys have anything you've noticed that you want to say and clarify about this whole Hip Pocket Steve thing or whatever? Like, anything at all?
Well, two things. I like to give my standard disclaimer. No one should go and harass or bother anybody who we've talked about. No one should go to Steve and say, oh, blah, blah, blah. Don't do it. This is not for that. Don't harass him. Don't do anything. Leave the guy alone. This is just information so you know if you've been fooled, if you feel if you need to send this video to other people so they can understand what we're talking about. And last but not least, I've had my issues with Katie in the past. I've had my issues with Steve in the past, but you should never judge any information because you don't like the person. You should judge the information about the validity of what it is. Facts first, then opinion second. And I think if we all did that with the Steve thing, a lot of people who got fooled because they did it off of opinion and emotion. Steve's got a good lawsuit, even though you got every lawyer who reads it saying it's a bad lawsuit. Steve's got a great lawsuit, even though, Uncivil Law goes through the lawsuit and tells you why it's bad. Steve's lawsuit is not dismissed, even though now we're showing people the paperwork to show that it was. So that's the main thing here. People are in the situation they're in now because they're leading with their heart and leading with their emotions. Say, we hate this person and we want to do anything to help her go down. I understand that. But the thing is that by doing that, you were taken for a fool because somebody saw that hatred and said, I want to capitalize off that by telling you I'm going to sue somebody, then not filing the lawsuit and having your money. And now it's trying to figure out if I was paid for, if I get to keep your money or do I have to give it back? So that's what I'm saying. People need to just understand what happened, why it happened, and hopefully it doesn't happen to you again.
Thank you for saying that. It just needs to be said out loud. I'm glad that we're even bringing this up because it's like a real crazy issue that I see. So it's true, but no one can make these people do anything. I'm just saying, sometimes you got to think for yourself, The people in this community, hey, Tybo Baggins, Tebow, I always call you Tybo Baggins. The people in this community support KJ hate because hating her gives them feelings they hadn't felt since prom night.
Oh, damn.
Was that a bad prom night?
You guys are cold. Yeah, that's pretty cold.
Thanks, Baggins. That's Crazy. Oh boy, did I miss any more? I don't know. Hold on. Oh, Uncivil, I want to ask you a question about this, okay? Remember when you read, I think it was Tati's filing. I can't remember what it was. It was so long ago. And you actually stuck up for some of Katie's points, like not Katie as a person, just what you were reading, literally. And people like lost their minds, like on
I
you.
remember that very distinctly. Yes.
Yeah. Can you speak on that a little bit? How crazy that was for you to see that? Have you ever got that from anything else you've ever talked about?
Not really. Not at the time. No. I thought the whole thing was really weird to me. Because I'm reading it and reading the complaint, and I'm reading it against Toddy because Toddy's the one filing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm reading it against her, to try to look for weaknesses and problems. I'm like, well, here's the problems, here's some problems, here's some weaknesses, here's something that's underdeveloped, here's some ideas. Katie seems to have some really good ideas, attacking possible elements of it being just true for some of this. That's avenue of attack. That Toddy's a public figure, and so forth and so on. So there seems to be some elements of attack, and I got called to be Katie's boy toy and everything else. And it was like I didn't quite know. I didn't quite know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Like I don't. And people are just saying I'm biased. I'm a shill for Katie and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know quite what to do here.
I know, it's really awkward. Like, there are people dead convinced out there who are like, AZ works for Katie, and I'm just like, what? My videos about Katie are still there. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's delusional. I've been on the internet a long time. I've never seen like quite this degree of just pure hatred. It's just weird to me. But all I need to do is talk to somebody about that.
I felt validated by kind of ultimately getting it right in the end. It's like just trying to assess it, just
almost like you know what you're talking about, right?
Well, no, we had. Well, let's be fair though, Kurt. There was a lot of those Katie haters out there that came back and had to give us our props. We've called because let me just be clear too. They did. To be fair, they didn't come back and they were like, "All right, you guys know your shit." But I've called every single KJ lawsuit correct, every single one.
Wow.
Right? I called the Steve one. I said this was going to get dismissed eventually. It was Toddy, Todd Chrisley. I said it was done, and it's going to be done.
It's on its way.
And 7M, I said, was the one that had probably the best legs, but I'm kind of 50-50. It all depends if they prosecute it. But and then we actually called why. So when I remember we were on stream and I was like, well, Katie's going to win this one, is obvious. You don't know how much hate. And at that time, I'm going to be also fair, I was friendly with Katie. Me and Katie weren't enemies. But I read the lawsuit and I was like, well, listen, guys, this lawsuit seems like BS. And it looks like it's going to be dismissed either based on jurisdiction or a motion to dismiss. And it went down on jurisdiction and I had the big stream. Yeah, I told you guys. Then obviously me and her had our falling out because of the whole, doxing issue that she went through. And I was like, I don't do doxing. So I'm out, thank you. I'll say this. I'm not friends with Katie, but I'm friendly with Katie. In other words, that's hello, how you doing, that type of thing. But I'm going to go have a drink with her or anything like that. That's a whole different thing. But I'll say this. If you get, I think at some point in time, and this is just my honest opinion, Katie has to start looking within, because it's no matter if you win all 4 of these lawsuits, to have 4 defamation lawsuits against you is not a normal thing to happen. Matter of fact, AZ, how many defamation lawsuits have you had to fight against in your lifetime? Probably none, right? Uncivil.
None. People threaten them all the time, but none.
and Uncivil, you're probably... Matter of fact, I think everybody in the chat, except for one person, probably has never had a defamation lawsuit. And we're talking about somebody who's had 4 in 2 years. So I think at that point in time, it's time to kind of self-reflect and say, what is the common thread with all these lawsuits? Is it me or is it these 4 different people? Now, even if you're right with all of these, maybe it's time to change tactics to say, I may be doing something wrong where everybody's now feels like it's me for defamation, right?
That's a really good point. Yeah, you're right. Thank you for mentioning that. That's a good point too. Both sides of the coin there, cause and effect. What goes up must come down, kind of thing. Like I say all the time. But thank you. Learning with Suj. Did I say that right? Excellent panel and great stream. I've got to get going. Have a wonderful night. Well, thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Later, Suj.
And then we got people that now listen, I got my moderators, my lovely moderators dropping the channels in the chat. So make sure, I'm pretty sure most of you are subscribed to both these people, but if you're not, they're really cool channels, and you know, they'll take it is whether people like it or, you know, don't. And I think that's why you guys probably get some backlash on YouTube, because YouTube's so full of channels like with opinions that like when facts come along, people are like, no, we can't do that. That might be part of the reason, right? But thank you so much for coming on and clearing some of this stuff up, you guys. Like, I really appreciate it. Blown away by how many people like just didn't, just hopefully so we change some minds tonight. You know, I just listen. That's all we can do here. But
only thing you do is give them the information and let them drink. You know, you can take a horse to the river, right? But you can't force them to drink, or you could drown them, but you can't force them to drink it. So,
yep. I think that's it, guys.
Well, listen. Well, if that's it, thank you so much for having me and my blonde bombshell down here at the bottom with me. But I will
be more redheaded.
But I will also say this though: Uncivil Law has been covering the Katie Joy lawsuits in depth. So if you guys want a truly unbiased reading of the lawsuits, because he reads them unbiased and he goes through the law, really go and look at those cases, because it'll let you understand exactly what the issues were with the lawsuit. And his opinions, to be fair, are a lot better than mine, because I do have some emotional baggage with these cases. So even with sometimes he'll point something out, I'm like, oh yeah, he's correct with that. So Uncivil Law is probably the best source to go to if you really want to go into why these cases are bad and that type of stuff. I would say come to my stuff, but I haven't done too much on them. It's actually Kurt. So
I really enjoyed you guys talking to somebody who definitely didn't agree with you about the Alex Jones thing. I really dug that stream and like the way it got handled and everything, and how Nate was like, see, we can have this conversation, and then Uncivil apologized for last time. I'm like, what a great conversation that was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, which one I'm talking about, but it was a really stream. Around here we're just like, F you, I'm gonna go make a video about you. use your worst picture as my thumbnail.
No, but you know what though? But that's the thing with law though. There's been so many times where I've been wrong and Kurt's been right. He's corrected me, even did a video about it. But the thing is that's the fun thing about the law. The fun thing about the law.
My personal favorite moment between me and Nate of all time, which just goes to show like how we think, it was dealing with the Pennsylvania Supreme Court during the Trump election on, I forget exactly what the issue was, precisely. Dealing with mail-in ballots or them coming in after the deadline or something about when they were valid or when not, right? And we were both interpreting it, and I'm a Republican and Nate's a Democrat. And what was interesting is we were both looking at the relevant law, and we split opinion, but we split opposite what you would think, right? So I'm a Republican, and I was reading the law in such a way I say, oh, Biden's going to win this issue. And Nate is a Democrat, but he was reading the law and say, oh, Trump is going to win this issue. So it was one of those really pure moments when it showed that we were both trying really hard to read the law, what we felt was correct, despite our political priors. And I also wound up being right, which was also nice on top of it. So, but it was one of my favorite moments. It's like we were both willing to try to reach for the law, even though it was hurting our political views, because we really thought that was the right reading of the law.
Yeah.
I wish there could be more conversations like that around here in general. Like, that would be great. What a perfect world that would be, right? But thank you so much for coming on, you guys. Like, I feel like really honored to have you both here. And Kurt, you know, I don't know. I'm sorry that I wrote you that creepy letter that time I handwrote it and everything. I'm like, this guy probably thinks I want to wear his skin or something. Like, I even laughed after I put in the envelope. I'm like, this is so creepy. I'm really not that creepy, Kurt. Okay.
I know you're not. I love your background, by the way. It inspires me to try to do something creative with my background.
Thank you. My seat is all messed up, so I'm like leaning into my camera, but thank you. I like how your camera, lighting's good now. I got to figure out my camera angle here. But
man, I'm traveling, and my lighting is just a simple floor lamp at the moment, and a simple webcam. So we're making do with what we've got.
Yep, that's all we can do. All right, guys. Like I said, I'm gonna link some stuff in the description after. Make sure you ever check it out if you're on the replay. Ocean Breeze, thank you so much. Nate, Kurt, thank you very much for coming by. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Bye.